When I got here, we wanted just the simplest sales process that we could have. What are the core items that you need in there? And I'll give you an example, like in terms of measuring. How many people here have their sales reps measuring drip edge and starter strip and hip and ridge shingle, right? So the approach we took is we rolled that all into the price per square because I want to be able to cast a massive net in recruiting. I want to be able to bring in a bartender and in 90 days have them put up $250,000 in sales. If I'm going to do that and they don't have sales experience and they don't have industry experience, I need to have a really good, simple training system. I need to have a simple price guide. I mean, I think our price guide probably has 5 line items in it. Is it a roof? Yes, good. How many squares? What's the pitch? What are the penetrations? And what are we tearing off? And when you use the software that we referenced, it can control the margins. And we're going to see that here shortly in terms of the financial impact. But we were able to nearly double the business, and it had a very similar impact on the financials. So increased sales last year, we were doing, what, Corey, like 1.3 million a month on average?
On average.
We're doing about 2.8 million per month on average now. And again, when you think about the transition over the last year, changed nearly everything in the sales org. We experienced 100% turnover in the sales org, and then we doubled the size of the original team. Increased gross margin, so we're approaching 60% in our gross margin. EBITDA is approaching 20%. Improved customer satisfaction, and our guild quality surveys are up. They're in the around 95%. And employee satisfaction, which is extremely important to us. Like Corey said, I mean, he built a wonderful company based on culture. And if your employees are turning over voluntarily, you know, there's a reason for it. They lack the training, they lack the opportunity, they lack the income, or they're just not being treated correctly. Right? So that turnover rate is extremely important to us. And this kind of highlights the journey, right? So, you know, Corey founded the business in 2020, offered solar re-roofing in 52 states, added insurance restoration shortly after.
54 if we had 54. I'd have gone anywhere. Frank, you remember going to Wichita, Kansas? That was fun. It was weird.
And then we made that hard pivot last year. So pivoted in September to core services, align the departments, which we didn't spend a whole lot of time talking about up here, but that is absolutely crucial. Again, we just took what is our best lead source, the most scalable, the most cost-effective, and we had to line everything up with that. And that's difficult. Like the company that I came from, every lead had to be two-legged. It was triple confirmed, and if nobody was home and the sales rep got there, everybody was pissed off. How could this happen? I'd say probably 24% of the leads that we run are one-legged. We close them at nearly the same rate as a two-legged lead. They cancel a little bit higher, but it's going to be $5 million of the $30 million we're going to put up this year. I was doing a podcast last month, and somebody asked me about that. They're like, what do you think about one-leg versus two-leg? I said, everybody that doesn't want a one-legged lead or can't convert it to a two-legged lead, I'll take them. Just send them to me. Finished with about 16 mil last year in revenue from retail, low EBITDA, turned over the whole squad at the beginning of this year in the sales team. And part of that is because they couldn't get lined up with the way we were trying to line the business up. And our goal was not to allow the sales team, the sales people, to dictate how we were going to set this business up for success. We opened our 4th location in Maryland in March. And then I'll let Corey tell the story about how we joined All-Star in July, which is a platform of about 20 companies backed by Morgan Stanley.
Now I'm going to ask something that's pretty funny. How many of you get contacted every day, 9 times a week, 100 times a month, about a broker or some private equity saying, I'd like to buy your company? Raise your hand if you've been contacted. Now, the apprehension that you're feeling, I can wholeheartedly say that is probably completely different than the person who raised their hand next to you. Your values on why you want to keep the company, or maybe don't want to keep the company, could be completely different. My reason for wanting to, join this platform wasn't in an exit. I was never going to exit the company, but I did want to find a way to level up because, as Chad said, we had to find a way to keep getting better and more scalable. And as we trained good talent, and as we brought guys in like Chad, we have Jay, Frank, our whole team, we had to find opportunity. And finding the right platform, which now is almost a $500 million platform, finding the right platform that was gonna help us do that was what my motivation was. Now, I know a lot of roofers around me that I reach out to now that I'm part of this platform, and I'm a brand, not only a brand ambassador, but also working with the platform pretty, intricately. They come to me and they say, dude, like, what should I do? I'm like, well, do you have a problem selling this company if it was your grandfather's company or your father's company, or this is your legacy, this is your identity? Do you have a problem saying that you're no longer CEO or owner and saying maybe you're president of a bigger and more exclusive team? That's what you gotta ask yourself. Is your decision-making ego-driven, and I said this earlier, ego-driven, or are you truly looking to grow? Personally, professionally, your teams professionally, what is gonna be your highest motivator?